Imagine waking up to find that your dream home might be out of the reach or your rental income is not coming this month. Or even worse, the house you are closing next month is $600,000 less than the purchase price. In today's video, we will peeling back the layers of Canadian real estate crisis. We will share insider insights and secret trends that most people never talk about, and all the factors that could change the game for homeowners, landlords, and home buyers alike. So, what are these mysterious signals and how you can use them to your advantage? Watch on to discover the clues and strategies we are uncovering. Hello everyone, my name is Parth Soni, a realtor based in Ontario. In today's video, we will talk about Canadian real estate market and what is happening in 2025. So we will talk about rising costs, lower wages, falling rents, and builder problems. We'll also share simple tips to help you deal with these changes. So for the purpose of this video, I've categorized into homeowners, landlords, and the new buyers who's planning to buy a house. So let's talk about the homeowners first. So for this one, I want to divide into two categories: for those who purchase a house before 2021 or 2020, and those who purchase the house after that period. And I'm the one who falls in that category. And the real reason I want to do this way, because obviously we know both markets were very different in terms of price. Those who purchased after 2021 spending too much on their house, of course, due to the prices, and many of them are house poor right now. So what it basically means is that significant portion of your income is going towards your housing and you have very little money or worst, no money to save or invest to enjoy your life. And I did make a detailed video over here about this situation, so check that out, and link is also in the description. And here's a quick graph of Kitchener and Toronto, what happens in 2021, 2022, and 2023 in terms of prices. Now, if you're a landlord, you know rent is going down and more rental units are coming into the market. New laws, lower rent prices make it very harder for landlord to make money. Now take a look at this article over here. It's a rent report from rental.ca every month. Now here is a quick comparison for the rental of all the properties across the board in Canada. If you see over here in February of 2020, the approximate rent was roughly about $1,700, $1,786, and it went up really quickly in 2023, 2024 at the peak of almost $2,200, and right now it came back to roughly about $2,100. And if you're someone who wants to go a little bit into detail about all the cities, if you are a landlord in Vancouver, Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, or whatever cities you are in, do check out this report because it does mention what is happening compared to the last year. So if you have someone who is a studio apartment, one bedroom, two bedroom, or three bedroom, it will give a very good comparison of what is the difference between last year versus what is happening right now, so you get a very good idea. Now let's talk about the new buyers who wants to buy a home, especially pre-construction buyer. Now, if you know that many developers are failing and with over 27 bankruptcy reported last year, this means if you buy a new condo, you might face delay in the upcoming project. And again, if you are someone who wants to know more detail about it, check out this video over here. It will give you a detailed understanding as what's happening with the builder in Toronto. Now, especially when talking about a pre-construction buyer, so here's an article. It's a true story, by the way. Like one of the buyer who bought in late 2020 and agreed to pay roughly about $2.2 million for a pre-construction condo in Midtown Toronto, and they put $439,000 as a deposit, which is roughly about 20%. And it's a very luxurious building. It's on an 8th floor and a two-bedroom unit. But right now, fast forward 2024, when the closing was happening, the appraisal came at $1.6 million. That is 27% less and roughly about $600 short than the original purchase price. So this is something that we are saying it's not only in the luxury condo segment, but also in the regular condo segment as well. Many appraisals are coming roughly about 20 to 30% less. So make sure you know about all this criteria before jumping into pre-construction project. Being said that there are so many good projects out there, so make sure you qualify all the projects very properly. Now let's talk about how to survive and thrive in this kind of environment. So for the homeowners, the very first thing I'm advising all of them is to budget and reassess. Now, if you're someone who bought your home in 2021, review your monthly expenses closely because at that point of time, I know your monthly expenses were really high compared to the price of the home. Look at your mortgage, utility, or any other recurring cost. I'm having roughly about 4 to 5 people a month who's calling me what to do with their mortgage, especially those people who bought it in 2023 with the fixed rate. Now, make sure you do a proper math. If you have a good financial record, if your credit score is really nice, I am advising few of them to go towards a variable. Again, it's totally dependent on case to case scenario. But what I am seeing right now, based on my experience, they can get roughly about 1% discount and 1% lower than what they are paying right now, which could translate based on like $650,000 mortgage, which could translate roughly about $350 to $400 every single month. And I know I'm not a mortgage agent, so do consult with them. And here's one more thing: also reach out to your bank and few other lenders so you get a better idea what is out there. Now, again, when you are switching from this kind of products, you may have to do any sort of penalty. And again, make sure that number aligns with the penalty. And if it's a higher number, you can definitely go for those kind of variable mortgages. And that's what we are doing right now with people, like based on proper numbers, all the facts, if it makes sense for them to move from their fixed to variable or not. And one more thing I want to point out over here: if you have money lying around in your saving account, make sure you put that in a high interest saving account where you get roughly about 3 to 4% interest every single month, rather than a standard account where you get roughly about 0.2 or 0.1%. So make sure your money grows a little bit down there as well. And if you're someone who's wondering what should be your typical monthly budget goes towards the housing, I have a link in the description. It's a budget calculator. It's a rule of 35. So make sure you go down there and download it. So it will give you a detailed idea your what amount of your income should go towards the house. Now, tight budget can force you into being house poor and limit your saving on investment opportunities. So make sure you do all this thing and have a better output out. And one thing for landlord out there: adjust and adapt. Now, with rental income falling and more unit coming onto the market, update your rental strategy. Consider a smaller rent adjustment, add a value, or any kind of things which can motivate your tenant to stay in the property for a longer period of time, even after when lease gets over. And to be honest, being a realtor, I'm saying you that like sometimes if you release or having your property on a market, again you have to pay all the commission, your realtor commission, brokerage, and all that kind of stuff. Rather than adjust a little bit, let's say if you're paying 2400 right now, but if you can adjust for 2350 or 2375 a little bit, or don't even increase the rent, then you in a longer run you can really save good amount of. And we all know the vacancy right now is on a higher end, so this will help you to stabilize your income in a very competitive market out there in the rental. And for the buyers who are planning to buy a pre-construction property, make sure you do your homework thoroughly, work with someone who understands the builder, know about them, and have a good track record. Now, what I do, I added step for all of my pre-construction buyers is that I make sure go and check when the builder had bought the land. So, for example, there are very prominent builder in Kitchener-Waterloo region. One of them is Activa. So most of the land they were bought in, let's say if a project is coming up in 2025, but they already bought a land in 2004 or 2005, then I know that they are not paying a very much market premium for that land. That's why they have a better holding capacity, and the variation in the price will be very less. And this will also save you as a buyer from builder getting bankrupt. So you can have a piece of. And it's not only one builder, like there are so many builders over there, like big builders. I would say Activa, Matami, Tridal. So definitely you can trust them depending on project to project. And remember, these strategies are not one size fits all. So adjust your approach based on your situation and always consider a professional help. Now let's see how the housing market will behave in the future. So the housing market has been challenging, but there are still opportunities for those who know where to look. Now, drawing from insights like BMO Economics, like Housing Outlook, A Long Way Home, it's a really nice report that they have mentioned is like basically what they are forecasting in the report is the modest gain in sale activity, and the prices will increase, but that is like very gradual. And they are also suggesting that we might not see or experience the boom that we have seen in 2022, which is very typical. And in terms of mortgage rates, they are expected to fall. Now, this is something what I'm reading based on the report, basically like potentially below 4%, which we have already seen right now, which could ease borrowing and improve affordability for so many buyers for refinancing as well. Now, basically, BMO believes that we will see 2022 price level back in 2029, so about a 7-year recovery period. I will make a detailed video about this article in future videos, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so you get notified. Now, in terms of government action, they are also coming up with so many new policies to ease the market pressure, such as incentives for first-time home buyers or more favorable refinance. In the past couple of years, government have introduced so many new things for buyers like FHSA, that is the first home saving account, CMHC rebate that is going on right now, government equity program, cutting red tapes, and promoting more houses an open permit for single detached house to make it into a four dwelling. There is something called mass timber projects, which was approved up to 18 level as well. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.